Hey everybody, it's Ray and we're back with another Genshin Impact video. Today we're going to talk about the latest addition to the roster, Rosaria. Now personally I was pretty excited for getting a Cryo polearm user, as polearm is probably my favourite weapon class in the game and Cryo my favourite element. So let's take a closer look. Rosaria is the most unique of the sisters we've come across from the Church of Favonius. Yep, you heard that right, Rosaria is a woman of the cloth. In her character stories we learn that Rosaria isn't originally a resident of Mondstadt, and was instead brought back to Mondstadt and placed into the care of the church as a youngster by Grandmaster Varka. It seems she never really took to her studies, but still somehow became a fully fledged member without even knowing the Anemo Archon's name.
Blessings from the Anemo Archon Barsabedo. Wait, no, it's Bartopus?
Rosaria has little interest in choir or prayer, yet takes her role as a protector of the people seriously, working instead from the shadows. As Rosaria is a new addition to the roster, she's one of the rate-up characters on the current banner, and it is expected that after this banner ends, she'll be available in the standard wish, like all the previously added 4-star units. If you're thinking of adding Rosaria to your team, there are some materials you'll need to collect. Head on over to the Cryo Regisvine for Cryo Crystals and Hoarfrost cores, go Valkyrie picking in the hills of Mondstadt, and take on the Fatui for their insignias. To build up her talents, you'll need to collect the Ballad books, more Fatui insignias, and the Shadow of the Warrior from the Golden House. And once you've added Rosaria to your team, any more wishes returning the same character will give you Stellar Fortuna, which will light up her constellation Spinea Corona, increasing her talent and combat capabilities. So what does Rosaria bring to the table? Her basic attack, Spear of the Church, performs up to 5 rapid strikes, or consumes stamina to lunge forward, dealing damage to enemies along the way. She can also plunge from midair to strike the ground below, damaging opponents along the path, and dealing AoE damage upon impact. Unlocking her first constellation, Unholy Revelation, means that whenever she deals a critical hit, her attack speed and normal attack damage will increase by 10% for 4 seconds. Whenever this happens, there's this cute little cryo cloud. With her elemental skill, Ravaging Confession, Rosaria swiftly positions herself behind her opponent, then pierces and slashes the enemy with her polearm, dealing cryo damage. Rosaria cannot use this ability to move behind larger opponents like Ruin Guards. After her first ascension, you'll unlock the passive talent Regina Probationum. When Rosaria strikes an opponent from behind using Ravaging Confession, her crit rate will increase by 12% for 5 seconds. Her third constellation, the Wages of Sin, will increase the level of Ravaging Confession's talent by 3. With her fourth constellation, Painful Grace, scoring a critical hit with Ravaging Confession will regenerate 5 energy for Rosaria. Rosaria's Elemental Burst is her unique take on a prayer ritual, the Rites of Termination. First, she swings her weapon to slash surrounding enemies, then she summons a frigid ice lance that strikes the ground. Both actions deal cryo damage, and while active, the ice lance periodically releases blasts of cold air, dealing cryo damage to surrounding enemies. Her fourth ascension phase will unlock the passive talent Shadow Samaritan, where casting this elemental burst will increase the critical rate of all nearby party members, except Rosaria, by 15% of Rosaria's crit rate for 10 seconds. The bonus gained this way cannot exceed 15%. Her second constellation, Land Without Promise, will increase the duration of the ice lance created by Rites of Termination by 4 seconds. Her fifth constellation, Last Rites, will increase the talent level of Rites of Termination by 3. And her final constellation, number 6, Divine Retribution, Rites of Termination's attack will decrease opponents' physical resistance by 20% for 10 seconds. Her final passive talent, which is effective as soon as she joins the team, is called Night Walk. So at night between 6 PM and 6 AM, the party's movement speed is increased by 10%. It doesn't take any effect in Domains or the Spiral Abyss or stack with other passives that provide the same effect. When cooking the healing dish Sweet Madame, there's also a chance she'll create her signature dish, Dinner of Judgment. This dish will restore more health than the original product. So let's take a closer look at the Rosaria on my account. I've unlocked 3 of her constellations, and I have her talents upgraded to level 6, 6 and 6, with a little boost from her constellations. She's at her 5th ascension and is level 75 with level 5 friendship. When it comes to polearms, I don't have a lot to choose from, but the Dragon Spine Spear seemed like the perfect choice for me. It gives a physical damage boost which pairs well enough as her burst attack doesn't grant an elemental infusion. This weapon also has the chance of dropping an ice shard on top of opponents, dealing AoE damage, or additional damage to opponents already affected by cryo. There's also a side quest called Festering Fang, which once completed grants you all the materials you need to craft this weapon, so it should be something that's accessible to all players. For her artifacts, I've given her a 2-piece Blizzard Strayer and 2-piece Gladiators Finale, with an attack percent timepiece, a cryo damage cup, and an attack percent headpiece. I'm hoping to get my hands on some more Blizzard Strayer artifacts, but my luck in the peak has been the worst recently, and I've kind of given up for now. Although the more I'm playing as Rosaria, the more I'm feeling like I might prefer a physical damage build instead. There's lots of different ways you could build and play Rosaria in different team compositions. If you've been making lots of wishes on the current banner, you may have been able to pick up all the rate up characters, and they make a good team when paired together. As there's 2 Hydro units in this team, it will benefit from the Cryo Resonance Soothing Waters, making your team's healer more effective. And you'll have the option of playing with Superconduct, Supercharged and Freeze reactions with this group. Rosaria will be a great backup damage dealer when your Tartaglia is on cooldown. If you're looking to roll out a Cryo Resonance team, there are some pretty powerful options among the 4-stars that make great partners for Rosaria. The Cryo Resonance Shattering Ice will reduce how long your team is affected by Electro for, and increase their critical rate against enemies that are frozen or affected by Cryo by 15%. An extra crit rate is always welcome. Diona can fill 4 roles in one go when paired with Rosaria: activation of the Resonance, ranged attacker, generate shields, and act as the team healer. Using one character to fulfill all of those roles gives you more options for other teammates and room for some pretty creative combos. And the good news is it looks like Diona will be a reward during one of the events in 1.5, which makes her another character that's going to be accessible for everyone without relying on the gacha. Chongyun has an ability called Spirit Blade Chonghua Layered Frost, which creates a field where damage dealt by sword, claymore and polearm users will be converted to cryo damage. Although this isn't the best pairing for my Rosaria build, as the cryo infusion from this skill will void the physical damage bonus from her spear, if you're using a Rosaria with a different spear and a cryo damage build, this could work quite nicely. If you saw my debut video, Mistakes I Made as a Genshin Newbie, you'll know that my earliest damage dealer was Kaya. As he's one of your original teammates, he'll be easily accessible to everybody, which makes him a great recommendation as a cryo partner. So I picked out Diona for this team and paired them with Sucrose and Lisa. I picked out Lisa as she's a member of the starter team and everyone will have access to her. And also, her skill is prone to being interrupted, so having Diona's shields will help with that. I've thrown Sucrose into the mix for a bit of crowd control, but Amber could also fill that slot. So let's have a look at one last team comp that would be suitable for beginners. This time we're pairing up Rosaria with Kaya, Amber and Barbara, and we'll set the time to 6 PM to activate Rosaria's passive ability and increase the team's movement speed. This is another team that will benefit from Cryo Resonance and give you that crit rate boost, and you'll have Barbara around for healing and setting off the freeze reaction. Amber gives you the ranged attack option and also brings in Melt, Vaporize and in this case Overloaded reactions. And when it comes to smaller mobs, she'll be able to provide a little bit of crowd control. If you're not planning on using Barbara much for attacking, be sure to equip the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. I seem to get this weapon all the time through wishing and it has a very interesting passive skill. The skill Heritage can give an attack boost to the new character taking the field. At max refinement this is a 48% boost. So once you've used up Barbara's skills and switch back to your main damage dealer, they'll get a nice boost to their attack. I really wanted to try out a team with Rosaria and Jean as I think they'd go well together, but unfortunately I haven't got my hands on Jean yet, so that's going to have to wait. So for my final thoughts on Rosaria, after having a few weeks to try her out, I really like this addition to the game. I personally find her easy to play and build, and even though I haven't got the best build in place, I'm pretty pleased with the damage numbers I'm seeing so far. I think she'd make a great damage dealer option for anyone new to the game who's gotten a copy of her on the banner. I'm also loving how short the cooldown is for her elemental skill, and I definitely appreciate the increased critical rate and movement speed her passive talents bring to the table. So that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and bop that subscribe button if you'd like to see more. Up next, I'll be bringing you a closer look at another polearm user, the one and only Zhongli. And we're going to have a closer look at the battle pass and whether or not it's really worth it. And there's plenty more up my sleeve. So I hope you stick around. See you next time.
Don't expect to see me at prayer tonight, and don't ask why.
Who's ready for some bloopers? I'd originally planned to switch to Diona to take out those barrels, but the Hillagels had other ideas. You know how I said my aim's really bad? It's really bad.